We are in our last unit, the novel. Very excited about this. This is it. This is where everything kind of comes together. And you've been reading a book all semester, which is what this is all kind of leaning towards, to really be able to hone into literature. There's a lot. There's a lot of things that maybe you're like, why are we talking about films and why are we talking about dramas? Because they all come together. In fact, how many times in dramas and in film did I show this little guy, right? Yes. So the cool thing about this is going to feel a little bit pretty much like a review of everything we've talked about. And that's good. That's the hope here is that by the time we come to the end, you're like, I've heard this so many times. I don't care about the conflict and the resolution, right? But no, that's good. That means you have been paying attention and listening and doing all the things, and now you're here. And this is the exciting part because the book that I chose I love. I love that book. It is different in a lot of ways, and that's the goal. So let's get started with the actual brief review, and we'll do a little bit of history and then the elements, the usual, and then we'll go on a little bit further to the elements, and then we're pretty much done. Okay. So the origin of the novel, I've been talking about this from the very beginning. Pretty much I'm going to be repeating a lot of the things that I've said before, especially the types of literature that we kind of cover. There's so much, there's a lot. And I apologize if I'm just kind of giving the same, the same books and the same things. We could cover a plethora, like so much that it would just be too overwhelming. So try and kind of keep it the same things, like, how many times do I talk about Charles Dickens? I know that you're probably sick of hearing about him. But he's part of one of the Golden Age authors. We'll get to that in a second. So anyway, the novel as we know it today is probably the most recent of the literary form. Its roots, as we talked about before, is that epic poetry. When we talk about epics, we talk about the Iliad, Virgil. These are the things in which our books come from. Is these original, the poems, the romances, and the short stories. In order to get to here, we had to start from, poetry and kind of getting our feet wet of, how are we writing, stories in general? How are we getting these points across? And again, it all started with our poets, our poems, our epics, our romances, and then that short story that brings us to being able to read full novels and stories. When we talk about ancient or medieval literature, we're talking about Homer's Odyssey, again, the Iliad, and again, Virgil. These are like the ancients. These are the beginnings. These are the romances, like the Canterbury Tales. It's bizarre. I actually don't have a book of the Canterbury Tales, but I love it. I love it. The Wife of Bath is one of my favorites. Each one has a great story to tell, and I love it. Right, that's just kind of the beginning of our understanding of literature and how we have gotten to where we are in writing. I included Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. That's a really good one. That's actually written in Middle English, so you can take a look at that. Just kind of get your feet wet. I don't do a lot of diving deep into Old English or Middle English. I feel like it's fun. It's great. We just don't have a lot of time. I'm trying to kind of get us into as many things as I can to get us to the end. Anyway, so take a look at that one just so it kind of give you, a little bit of kind of a taste of it. So the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight actually featured a narrative storytelling, but it lacked the complex character development that we see now. And it didn't have a lot of intricate plots associated with the novels that we have now, where we develop these characters, which you've done in your assignments that have gotten you to here. Even in when we did the hero's journey. I mean, the kind of goal there was just to kind of see where we were at, but the development as we went through and trying to understand the complexities of sharing human experiences in one character, it was a lot. But that character in that hero's journey is actually probably more complex than Sir Gawain in the Green Knight, which tells you how much literature has influenced you in your lifetime. So just keep that in mind. So again, the hero's journey thing, while it might have felt like a little out of the blue, the goal there was for me to actually kind of see where you were at and your understanding of complexities when it came to again, intricate plots. It was very intricate. Maybe the complexities of the character itself. So anyway, just keep that in mind as we move forward. The original works weren't as big as they are now. When we talk about epics, they were very big, but they didn't get into the idiosyncrasies of what it's like to be human, and in some of these ways. Anyway, just keep that in mind. The novel itself is coming around 17th and 18th centuries. The development of the novel as a distinct form didn't occur until about the 17th and 18th century. So, let's see here. Oh, particularly in Europe. So, Don Quixote, it's kind of hard to say it because you don't say the X. Don Quixote is another novel. Take a look at. Starting in 1605 is. I'm going to start over